Have you ever wondered how some people seem to easily juggle multiple tasks, think creatively, and solve problems from unique angles? Well, it all comes down to brain agility. In today's video, we will discover how an agile brain allows us to focus effectively, switch between different thought processes, and integrate diverse ideas. We will explore the primary thinking styles that are linked to a simplified understanding of neural pathways and the process that support them, as Dr. Tara Swart explained in details in the third part of her book called The Source. Let's dive into it. The concept of brain agility can be linked to a gas cooker with multiple burners that were able to turn up and down in various situations. The maintenance of each flame, brain pathway, as well as maintenance of the gas supply to all of our burners, it's what brain's agility is really about. If one of the burners is firing on max for a long time, it will impact on the gas supply available to power our other pathways, and if the full blast continues, this could lead to burnout. This is a helpful way to explain the importance of protecting brain resources and maintaining balance between the pathways. Dr. Tara Swart describes 6 ways of thinking that align with simplified neural pathways in the brain: emotional intelligence, physicality and interoception, gut instinct and intuition, motivation, logic, and creativity. Let's explore each pathway individually, examining the scientific principles behind them and the practical strategies to enhance their effectiveness. Mastering our emotions is crucial for personal development, as it is one of the most important pathways to focus on. The balance of logic and emotion is important, as is everything in between, but the traditional black and white idea that logic is good and emotions are bad is shifting towards the new scientific truth that mastering our emotions holds the key to changing our lives. Emotions originate in the amygdala, a primitive part of the limbic brain. After the amygdala registers an emotional response, it links this response to memories stored in the hippocampus. The prefrontal cortex then evaluates which memories are relevant and how to interpret the emotions by filtering them throughout past experiences. Human emotions can be categorized into 8 basic types, each linked to specific neurotransmitters. The 5 survival emotions, fear, anger, disgust, shame, and sadness, involve the release of the stress hormone cortisol. They often operate subconsciously and are all escape avoidance emotions, generating complex behaviors. It is those feelings that might make you feel like avoiding potentially stressful situations such as public speaking. When they take over the brain's flight or fight response, you will struggle to maintain control of your reactions and keep your cool. The attachment emotions, love, trust, and joy, excitement, are influenced by oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine, which activate the brain's reward system. We are primed to want to repeat behaviors that gave us those good feelings, like cuddling a loved one or going for a run. This encourages the repetition of behaviors that induce positive feelings, but can also lead to addictive behaviors. It seems obvious how alcohol is not good for us and can become an addiction, so it's all about moderation. Surprise stands alone as a potentiator emotion capable of shifting responses from attachment to survival states or vice versa. Noradrenaline intensifies the effect of other neurochemicals and is thought to underline surprise. This is the feeling we get at the top of a roller coaster or in a horror movie when we don't know if we will laugh or scream in the next millisecond. Emotions are tools we can use to shape our responses, much like selecting ingredients from a pantry. If somebody upsets us, we could either make scrambled eggs or bake a cake. Our response is very much within our control. Interoception. We are all familiar with the primary senses through which our experiences of the world is mediated. Interoception is the less known sense that helps us feel and understand what's going on inside our body. It helps us read our own body and process its signal from hunger, thirst, and body temperature to our heart rate or the state of our digestion. Our capacity to correctly decode physical clues is influenced by the way we have learned either to take note of or ignore different types of feelings. Interoceptive signals are transmitted to the brain via multiple neural pathways related to our heart, blood, lungs, and skin. Interoception primarily relates to physical awareness, but is also linked to more general emotional self-awareness. The connection between the gut and the brain has sparked a significant debate. Neurobiological research has uncovered the complex communication system between the neurons in the gut wall and the limbic brain that is integrated to our decision-making. The limbic brain is where our habits and behavioral patterns are stored. So, the gut-brain system helps govern not only the healthy functioning of our digestive system, but also complex brain functions, including motivation and access to our deeper wisdom. Evidence suggests that taking a high-quality probiotic for a month can rebalance gut flora and reduce negative thinking. Reducing inflammation in the gut can be achieved by decreasing the intake of red meat, processed food, and high-sugar foods. Additionally, consuming probiotic-rich food like kefir and taking probiotic supplements can be beneficial. Take a high-quality probiotic every day for the month to come. Quality brands should contain over 50 million strains of good bacteria. The gut plays a significant role in producing neurotransmitters, including 90% of body serotonin, which primarily influences brain's function. In the brain, serotonin acts as a happy hormone that helps regulate mood. In the gut, it induces changes in close-by cells in the body and has impact on weight gain by helping to regulate insulin production. The brain continuously communicates stress levels to the gut throughout synaptic nerve fibers. When stressed, the brain signals the gut to conserve energy by reducing blood supply for digestion. Persisting stress can deplete the gut's resources, leading to symptoms such as changes in appetite, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, and potentially more severe issues. The basic human drives are sleep, walk, hunger, thirst, and reproduction. On top of those, we have the things that particularly motivate us. This could be helping other people, intellectual challenge, financial success, or innovating. There are also the more negative motivators such as fear, revenge, anger, as well as addiction. While motivation is what keeps us going when it would be easier to give up, resilience matches this drive with the ability to bounce back from adverse situations and adapt to cope better in the future. Having a clear why inspires us to look at obstacles flexibly when they stand in the path of our hopes. Having a strong sense of purpose correlates with well-being. It ensures we are goal-oriented, motivated by a desire for a particular outcome that gives us the tenacity to keep on going. This is a complex unconscious brain state that relates to survival and ensures we are not easily distracted or derailed by destructive habits or addictions. This is important, as everything from the ping of the text message all the way up to alcohol addictions or eating disorders can derail us from our goals. Having a strong underlying purpose also enables us to keep the bigger picture in mind when we are struggling with minor goals. Following our passion is the expression of a strong inner purpose. It's a huge mistake to pursue a certain amount of money or the material aspects of a lifestyle as our goal if this does not correlate with any underlying passion. The lack of meaning and purpose will eventually surface as an issue physically, mentally, or emotionally and can lead to burnout. To get to the bottom of our underlying motivators, we first need to be totally honest with ourselves. What do we really want out of life, and why do we really want it? Plant this question like a seed in your brain and leave it there to germinate. Strong survival emotions such as fear, disgust, or shame can often act as powerful motivators themselves. The brain's strongest drive is for our survival, and this is another way in which we haven't evolved appropriately from how we functioned when we lived in caves to what we need to do to operate effectively in the modern world. It's easy to mistake the influence of emotions such as shame or sadness, as the brain will dress it up as proactive choice. We may convince ourselves to stay in bad marriages, for example, because we think it's the right thing to do for a host of reasons. In reality, though, the true motivation may be more fear or shame-based. We simply don't want to be alone. Make a list of distractions and motivation suppers, as well as a list of what really motivates you. After a week of journaling, read the list of demotivators and see if there are any changes you can make straight away. Keeping a sense of perspective and taking a long view of life is helpful during stressful time, particularly when the gap between where we are now and where we want to be feels impossible. Also, having a sense of perspective helps us to grasp the fact that a mistake is only a mistake if we don't learn from it, and therefore train our brain not to repeat the pattern. When our brain seeks to apply logic to a situation, it is attempting to tap into what is known to be the rules of cause and effect, the idea that every action has a consequence. The positive side of this is that this should be about taking responsibility for our actions and learning from our mistakes. The negative side of this is that it can make us risk-averse and overcautious. When faced with a what-to-do problem, our brain's pattern recognition system kicks in. This is a complex process that synthesizes information from the different parts of the brain, calling up memories of previous similar decisions. We work through each choice rationally in our cortex as the brain attempts to devise the best response now, measuring the present situation against previous ones, and asking the question, does this make sense based on the data I have available? We then assess how this sits in our limbic system. Does this feel right? Our logical brain calculates likely outcomes and potential consequences, running a series of what-if scenarios like a chess player planning future moves. To guide the way, emotional value tagging acts as a fluorescent highlighter, telling us which bits of past and present information to pay attention to. All of this is informed by emotional responses to the memories laid down in our past. When we are entrenched in a set way of behavior and thinking, we can feel unable to see the situation from another point of view. Logic goes out of the window in this situation and bias take over. This is dangerous because we don't know what we don't know. What's the best way to spot fake logic and recognize the real deal? Consciously raising memories of similar situations in the past that might be influencing our assessment of what's happening now is step 1. Then, we need to consciously challenge the chain of comparative thinking, asking ourselves what's different about now. The ability to think around a problem flexibly and adaptively is logic in action and is the antithesis of A to B thinking. Creating the life we want requires vision, and not just the vision to imagine the reality we want, but also to spot the potential opportunities that are occurring around us all the time and that could help us make our way towards the future. A creative brain is one that can put ideas to use in unexpected ways, using contrasting combinations of thoughts to foster new ones. This is the new superpower of the human mind, to reinvent, imagine, improve, and rethink. When we are thinking with our whole brain and devote our full creative power to a situation or problem, we see possibilities where others see limitations. Highly original thinkers show strong connectivity between 3 networks of the brain: mind wandering, focused thinking, and selective attention. Giving yourself the time and space to think without distraction can lead to new ideas and perspectives. This is the benefit of actively allowing your mind to wander. By consciously bringing our desires, hopes, and dreams to the forefront of our mind, our brain will be able to home in more effectively on opportunities that will lead to the outcome we want. This is focused thinking. So often, we filter out thoughts that don't fit our immediate purpose, but in freeing ourselves up to think a broader range of thoughts, we enable action. This is why we need to sharpen up our selective attention and filtering skills. We've reached the end of the video, and by now, we've discovered that brain agility is essential for thriving in every aspect of life, from our professional endeavors to personal relationships and overall well-being. The key areas to concentrate on include mastering our emotions, understanding ourselves, trusting our instincts, maintaining resilience in pursuit of our goals, making sound decisions, and actively design our future.